lot of his attacks and still set up my punches, set up my kicks, and ultimately get my takedown to stick to my bread and butter and strangle somebody. And that's what I did tonight. He left his neck out there. All I needed was an opportunity, and he gave it to me.
Did you see any openings? Because, you've managed to, get him to the ground before. Did you see him maybe do anything to leave any openings that made you think that you might get that later?
In previous fights?
Yeah.
Not really. I just know he fought Rafael Sunsao. Rafael Sunsao is not a great wrestler, but he was able to take him down, and that gave me confidence because I'm a two-time All-American. I train with the best in the world, and I just know my takedowns, and my style of wrestling is just a lot different from these other guys. So that gave me confidence knowing that I could get him down. I just had to be patient, set it up, not run into any knees, not run into a head kick. And I think I did a good job with that, pacing myself. I started off a little bit slow in that first round, which kind of pissed me off a bit, but I had to get comfortable. I haven't fought since freaking April, man. It's one of those things where I want to fight more often, be more active. When I went pro, I fought 5 times in 1 year, and then to go to fighting once or twice in a year is kind of like that. I think ring rust is a true thing. You can spar as much as you want, but at the end of the day, there's nothing like getting in there and getting the realistic feel of someone trying to throw some heat at you.
So there's a lot of talk about your frustrations with the UFC. People might assume you're a little angry going into the cage. Were you emotional when you went in? Did you really feel like, listen, I'm going to shut these people up with a spectacular performance tonight?
No, I'm definitely not upset or angry with the UFC. I understand how this thing goes, and I'm a reasonable guy. I use my head. I think I'm a smart person, and if I do say so myself. But when I look at the landscape of the division, I think back to when I fought Mizugaki. I was unranked. I was supposed to fight Manny Gambier. We're both unranked fighters. Then that allows for more opportunities, more guys for me to fight, because now we're 2 unranked guys. There's a lot of unranked guys in the division. Now I step up to the plate and fight a guy who's ranked 6th in the world. I take him out in the 3rd round in a way that hasn't been done in over about 20 years. And then now there's nobody for me to fight because everyone is hurt. So I'm kind of in this weird void. And I think that's what it came down to. And I understand. My whole thing was, don't tell me that nobody wants to fight me, and then when I go to social media and call people out and people are like, hey, they're raising their hands, I'll fight you. Tell Shelby, tell Dana I'll sign the check, send me the contract and things like that. I'm like, well, it seems like I got a couple dance partners, so let's make this thing happen. I don't give a damn if I'm ranked 6th in the world or 7th, whatever it is I'm ranked at the time, and these guys are unranked. I just want to fight, get paid, get experience so I can get comfortable when I get my chance to fight for the belt.
You seem like you had a lot of fun out there, from the striking to the dancing afterwards. Is it about being entertaining at the end of the day to get bigger fights?
It's always about the entertainment aspect of it. I don't know, people. I notice people like the 80s look that I brought back with the high top, the part and the big rope chain and everything. So it's just about, you got to be a character, man. You got to be different. You don't got to go WWE on them, but at the same time, you got to be different. You got to do something that's going to stand out, people can kind of relate to or take to. And I think I did a good job with that. But at the end of the day, it's about having fun, man. We kill ourselves weeks after weeks, racking our brains about this one person trying to take our heads off. And when you finally get the opportunity to step in there, sometimes, like even in the back room, I was telling these guys, I was like, man, this is the most anxiety I've ever felt before a fight. And I felt like, I was telling myself, like, maybe this guy's the one to slow me down. And I had to get those negative thoughts out of my mind. And I was just like, you know what, man, you came too far. You were so confident coming into this. Don't let the day of you break down and not do what you're supposed to do. And I had to keep telling myself, you're too tough, you're too. And I kept those negative thoughts out of my head. And I went out there and I said, 11 people tried, 11 people failed. One more is going to try, one more is going to fail tonight.
Do you feel like any of that anxiety may have been just the pressure that you've been putting on yourself leading up to this fight, knowing the implications at hand?
Yeah. You know what's crazy? I don't talk to my dad. We had a really big falling out, and then this morning my brother gets a phone call, and my dad's birthday is actually on the 13th, and he's out here with my little sisters, and I don't speak to the guy. I haven't spoken to the guy in months, so there's so many outside factors, so many things coming into this fight. I was banged up really bad, so many injuries, and so many times I thought, I was like, man, there's a good chance I might have to pull out this fight if things don't start to shape up. And I wasn't training hard the way I wanted to train hard that I'm used to training, and that kind of sucked. It definitely, like I said, it plays doubts in your mind and things like that. But the whole thing with my dad, the whole thing with my last fight on my contract, not having to fight for so long, and people being behind me. There's no such thing as pressure unless you place it upon yourself. And I learned that from a great wrestler. And that was a quote that sticks with me. And like I was talking about earlier, I put the pressure on myself before that, and I started thinking a little bit negative. And I had to tell myself to just relax, man, go out there and just have some fun, do what you do. And things don't go your way, things don't go your way. At the end of the day, just be happy with your performance. If you go out there and you perform and you're happy, then that's all you can ever ask for. And that's what I did. I made sure I laughed a little bit, enjoyed the moment, and soak everything in.
Are you going to meet up with your dad?
Are you going to try to be a free agent? Are you going to try to talk to the UFC again about what's next?
I want to be with the UFC. I want to fight for the best in the world, and I want to be considered the best in the world. And I think everyone knows hands down, if you're the UFC champ, you're considered the best in the world. And I mean, arguably, you're the best in the world. There's some other organizations that have some top-level guys as well, but I think this is the one that I think people pound for pound consider the best in the world if you are a UFC champ. And this is where I want to be. I just want to make sure they do things right by me and take care of me, because at the end of the day, I got to provide for myself and my future. I'm a college graduate. At some point, I need to go back and get my master's, but if MMA opens up other doors and other avenues, then, you know, more power to that, and I'll just do that and stick that route. But at the end of the day, I got to plan for myself, and I got to look long-term and think about my future. I'm 26, going to be 30. I don't want to be one of those guys fighting well into their 30s, getting punched in the head and stuff like that. Nah, that's not for me, man. I want to get in, get out, make my money, say I did it, had fun doing it, say I was one of the best in the world, and I think that's what it's all about, being able to say you were one of the best in the world and not just be a part of the journey. I mean, the journey is fun, but being a champ is a great thing to have. I've never won anything in my life in terms of the pinnacle of a sport. Wrestling, I came up short 2 years in a row, actually 4 years in my collegiate career, and I think this is the one, my shot to actually be able to solidify myself as one of the best in the world, as something that I put my all into, and that's what I want to do. I want to become the best in the world in my division and what I do right now, which is mixed martial arts.
If they stick to their guns, are you prepared to walk away?
They stick to their guns. Am I prepared to walk away? I don't think anyone's sticking to their guns, because I draw my gun a little bit faster. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to say I'm going to walk away, but I do think they see a prospect in me, and I do think they know I'm one of the next hot contenders. I know they got the other kid, Thomas Almeida, who's a stud, but I got my eye on that guy as well. So there's a lot of guys in this division that people try to count me out against, and keep counting me out, man. Keep doubting me, and I'm going to keep proving everybody wrong one by one and just keep knocking these guys down and choking them out left and right.
You mentioned Almeida. Is he the only guy on your radar right now, or do you have somebody else there?
Well, I didn't say Almeida was on my radar. I just know he's a very talented kid, very talented prospect. I think the smart play on that is we'll see what happens with Frankie, who's that guy? Frankie Saenz. Frankie Saenz and Uriah Faber. Uriah Faber wins. He's the next title challenger because he's the biggest fight at the division right now against Cruz or either Dillashaw. And I either fight Rafael Sunsao in a title eliminator for the next slot, or maybe they do two undefeated guys coming up to fight for the belt next. But I think the smart play on that is I win the belt, I'm undefeated, Thomas Almeida comes up, and we have the next undefeated champions in the men's divisions. I think the last time we had that was Rashad Evans versus Lyoto Machida. So I think that would be something classic to go down in history, and I think that's the best way to play it, in my opinion. But we'll see what happens. If somebody have to fight sooner than later, then guess what? I'd rather get the guy before he gets really, really good.
Are you going to meet up with your dad?
I don't think so, unless he wants to meet up with me. But as of right now, there's no love lost. I don't hate the guy. Just we have our differences, we have our disagreements, and sometimes some things just aren't meant to be patched up. And if they're meant to be, it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But we'll see what happens. At this point in time, from what I understand, he doesn't really want to talk to me. So I mean, he's out here. That might mean something. But family issues, man. I think we all have them.
Are you going to stick around until Saturday for Chris?
Oh, 100%. I'm waiting for Bruce Buffer to announce and still. So I'm definitely sticking around to watch Chris go out there and prove Rockhold wrong and prove the world that he's a legit guy, man. People just don't know the capabilities that guy has. He does so little in terms of his fights. He doesn't open up and show too much of what he does, and I think he shows little glimpses of every single fight of his shades of greatness. And I think he's going to be one of those guys to actually retire undefeated and as a champion.
Why'd you call out Mayweather? You still raw after that situation?
I thought the whole thing calling out Mayweather was just a funny thing. He's undefeated, retired undefeated. That's a big money fight. So if that fight could actually happen, I'm all about it. So, you know, and it would definitely be an MMA fight, not a boxing fight, because I got a little more sense than that. But it was all fun and games. I got nothing against the guy. I think he's a special talent, and I actually like the guy. Besides him trying to pick up my girl, I think he's cool by me.
Tasty,
Yeah, he's got good taste.